and I hope you find this segment interesting. I've put something together on SRT Television. Some of you are well familiar with it. Those guys who specifically watch the BATC net. Simon Brown, the developer of SRT Console, developed a program called SRT Television. And yeah, this is what I'm going to show you guys. So let's just have a look at it. Very easy. Let's just go to SRT Radio. This is Simon's homepage. You probably used his program, SRT Console, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. So have a look at this. If you scroll down his site, you'll see SRT Television. So this is it. There's a beta 2 that he's released. So let's have a look at it. If we have a look at SRT Television, major update. Well, he fixed some of the bugs, but you guys can read all that. I'm not going to go through it. The main thing that I would like to demonstrate is how to get it up and running. That's Simon, by the way. What you have to do, just follow up to this point. There's two things that you have to download. One of them is actually SRT Radio, which is an independent program, and then there's SRT Television. Now, I suspect that Simon does quite a lot of the lifting in his SRT Radio, and SRT Television sits on top of it. So you have to go choose your preferred thing. Like for me, for argument's sake, if Microsoft Drive, you go in here. Never done this before, so I don't know what's going to happen. Oh gosh, what the hell is it doing? Anyway, there we go. So you just download it. I've already done that, so I'm not going to carry on with that. And you do the same thing for SRT Television. So you download both of those devices, or programs I should say. So once you've done that, there we go, you then install them. To install them is pretty straightforward, and if you're successful, you will get this. You will get a little icon for SRT Television, a console, and you get an icon for SRT TV. Okay, so that's the first step. Another very important thing for everybody to consider. Simon's got very good documentation, so if you go back to his site srttelevision.com and go to the SRT Television Beta 1 tab. So let me just go back and I'll show you. That's his website, right? That's his homepage. Okay. Scroll down and you'll see these recent blog posts. Click on SRT Television Beta 1 and scroll down and you'll see something very important. Reading the user guide is highly recommended. Okay, so click here and download the PDF. So this is the PDF here, and have a look at the brilliant documentation that Simon created. Okay, and highly recommended that you guys read all of it. Just, you know, you don't have to set anything up, don't have to run the program, just get this PDF, start reading it before you even get your hands dirty, so to speak. And there's got a lot of information there about what he's doing, how he's implementing it, etc., etc. So I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm guilty because I had a quick skim through it. It's only when I'm doing this video that I'm actually looking into it in a much deeper way. So yeah, it is very good, and like I said, you know, it's definitely worth reading it. So I hope you guys have a good look through it. I'm just scrolling through it just to show you the complexity of it. Yeah, well done, Simon. You know the old thing, read the manual first. I think with this particular software, although it's very intuitive and relatively easy to set up. There's a few fine things that you will learn by looking at the manual. So next thing is that you've got to install OBS Studio. Okay, now OBS Studio is being used by SRT Television. I've already installed it. I'll show you guys how to install it, so stand by for now, but I'll show you what the studio does. So if we have a look at it now, the whole idea is that you've got to have some sort of an input into the SRT Television, and the way that we get the input is via OBS. Okay, you can have a direct input like a webcam or something like that, and SRT Television will recognize that. You'll see that later. I'll show you that. But for now, we've got OBS. So this is me here with my laptop, and at the moment you're watching the OBS. I've got that open in another window which is being captured. So essentially, when you successfully installed OBS, you'll also have a thing called virtual camera. Okay, I'm not using that at the moment. I'm just using my OBS without that at the moment. So let's just leave it for that for now. I've defined a special scene called SRT Television. I've got a couple of text things here, which is my load, my call sign, some sort of a descriptor of what I'm showing. I've got my video capture device, which is my Logitech C920 camera, and this is it. That's how it's defined. And when you've installed your virtual camera module in OBS, you'll be able to do that. So you've defined that camera, and essentially that is live. And then I've also got a test card. At the moment you can't see the test card, but let's just bring it up and you will be able to see it. So there's my test card. So if I do a transition, there's my test card now. That's going live. Actually, this is actually going through SRT Television, but you guys can't see it at the moment. I'll show you that in a few minutes. So that's basically it. Let's go back to the capture. Let's move that up. Oh, it's easier doing it here. I've just been dragging it. So that's basically it. So now, if we go back to my screen, we will start SRT Television. Let's just minimize that for now. Let's just start SRT Television. Now, let's assume you don't have an SDR and you've just downloaded SRT Television as depicted before, and you've installed it, and you've got OBS set up, and you've got your webcam, etc. So essentially you could say, you know, there's my OBS, I've got my webcam here, you know, the image is working. Now I do have an SDR, but just to prove a point, I'm going to unplug it from my laptop. So there we go. My SDR now is removed. Okay, I haven't got no place to put it, so I'm just going to leave it there, but it's not connected. Okay, so let's just go back to SRT Television and pretend we've just literally fired it up. Now we're not going to select a radio because we don't have one. Okay, but we're going to go and select loopback. Now loopback will enable us to essentially mimic the whole transmission. In other words, we could test everything, and what it's doing, it's actually generating IQ data, and it's actually, normally that would be used to do the transmission into the SDR, so we can generate some RF. But what's happening is that it's feeding it back to the receiver chain of the software. So the receiver is picking up the IQ data. It's not picking up RF, it's just picking up the IQ data and displaying it. Ideally, we're getting a perfect picture. We're getting a perfect, you know, from a transmission to reception, we're using the same data, the same IQ data. So technically there's no loss in there. So this is what it's doing. So we still do the same thing. We start the stream. We can see our image here. Like there's our image. That's sort of live. And if we start transmitting, there's no SDR, but nevertheless, we do have a transmission. And everything works as though we have RF. Okay? So you could sort of see that our MER is 32, which is much better. We were getting 25 before with RF. But that's our image. There's that constellation. Everything's the same. This is a very handy feature. And for those of you that don't have an SDR, you can still play with SDR television. You can configure it. You can experiment with it. And you can make sure that it's working. And then you're set to go. As soon as you get your SDR, you can then literally just configure the SDR, and all the other settings, everything else will be fine. You know, it'll work. So that's a really good feature. I thought I'd just show you guys. Loop back, don't forget. Now, if we disable this, we can now disable the loopback, and that's it. Normally, if we try to start this without loopback, there is no radio, so it'll probably fail. You see, it either gives us a choice to use loopback or to start the radio. Now, I've literally switched off my SDR or unplugged it, so I can't do that. Anyway, I hope you can get the idea. Fantastic feature. And well done, Simon. And we're going to start SRT Television from scratch. So this is how it comes up, okay? First thing you've got to do is define your SDR. Now, I've actually got a Libra SDR, and you guys will see it in a minute. It's just literally just beside. I'll switch back to my OBS so you can see it. There's my Libra SDR. That's it here. It's just sitting there next to my laptop. So USB going from there, going into the laptop. That's all you need. An antenna as well. And I've got an antenna for the receive as well. Okay, so that's basically it. So we'll go back to this. So essentially that's already defined. Now, you've got to define the bandwidth as well. You'll see Simon at the moment has disabled TX for all the bandwidths set above 3 megahertz. Not sure why, there must be a good reason, but at the moment they're not enabled. I've actually bumped this up to the highest that I can go, which is 2.688. So that's what it is. And I've selected Libra SDR, and that's basically my device, which is here, and I click start. So essentially it is starting my SDR with all the drivers and so forth. Now, when that's running, the next thing that we do, and before we go to do that, if you have a look at the software, right at the top, Simon's got a section called links, which is really handy. So when you install SRT Television and you fire it up, don't worry too much about the SDR for now. You'll see all sorts of links here. So basically, you've got the most important bit, the home page for OBS. So if you haven't even installed OBS yet, it's all there. Just click on that and click on Windows. Unfortunately, SRT Television runs on Windows only, so you'll have to install OBS on Windows as well. So essentially, I'm not going to do this, but you click on this and it'll download the appropriate software, and you just follow it through. All default, nothing else, okay? So let's get out of that. And then the next thing you do is click on the virtual cam, right? Again, Simon's got the link straight into the actual GitHub repository, and that is the latest. So what we do, we go to this section here, latest beta, not beta, the latest 2.12, click on that, and here we've got that software. So you want the first one, the installer.exe, okay? Click on that, download it, install it, okay? Once you've done that, we will end up back to this. We will have an icon here, and we will have another one for SRT Television. And if you installed OBS correctly, you'll get that as well. So those are the three things that will appear on your desktop. Okay, so for now, let's go back. When we start SRT Television, I've just done it. That's what you will get. Okay, and if you've defined your radio, that will be enabled. So you'll get this page, right? Next thing you do is you go to the transmit section, and here you can select various things. Now, I've got my C920 plugged into the laptop for the sake of OBS, okay? But this detects it as well, so I could use that directly without OBS. Let's just do that. If I click on that, well, actually it's not going to come up straight away. Let's just leave it for OBS. I'll show you guys in a minute the other thing. So basically, when you select OBS, you got to select OBS camera, not OBS virtual camera, just OBS camera. You should get that coming up as well. And my OBS is set for 1920 by 1080, and the output I'm getting out of OBS is 50 frames. So that's what I'm setting, okay? So that's set. The rest of it, for my microphone, I'm using the microphone from the webcam, okay? So I set that. Everything else default, haven't touched anything else, okay? My drive level is at -40 dB, not touching that. Now the only thing I've done, I've gone to presets here, and in the presets you've got 1280 megahertz. It's not exactly what we use 1287, but it's in that band. So that's the preset, so it saves us fumbling. It'll work just as well with the 87. So 1280 is set. Now modulation is QP, or constellation is QPSK. And at the moment, the symbol rate, the highest we can set is 1000, okay? I've made a request via the forum for Simon to see if he can bump up this thing to 4000. I don't think it's an easy thing to do, and there's a reason why he left it at 1000. But the request is there, and if we're lucky, it may be simple, and we will be able to get 4K. And if we get 4000 kilosymbols, we will be able to get into RTV with this setup. So for now, let's just carry on. So we've got frequency, we've got the symbols, we've got the FEC, everything else, don't worry about. On the receive side, once you've set that on the transmit, the receive would be pre-populated with the same settings. Okay, so I've got the QPSK. Well, actually, no, I've set it for the same settings. It's important that you set it for the same settings. Frequency, constellation, symbol rates, okay? Once you've done that, we're ready to roll. So what we do now, we start the stream by pressing that. When that happens and everything is successful, you will get the video popping up. This video is from my OBS. You can see my overlays, okay? And you've also got the modulation for the audio. You can actually see the spectrum there. Hello, hello. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, on the receive side, nothing is happening because we're not transmitting. When we click on this send button, it'll start transmitting. So hopefully we can see a constellation here, and an image is just popped up. And if you guys can see on SRT Television, my little spectrum analyzer, can you see? This is live, okay? We can see the spectrum on SRT Television, but this is the actual live spectrum on. Hang on, I'll put it in front of the camera, that you can see live on the little Tiny SA Ultra. So that's our little haystack for what we're transmitting right now. So bottom line is, if we got 4000 kilosymbols and we've got 1287, and you've got your amplifier, or you're close to the repeater, you're on air. It's as simple as that. Now, this is really great because this device is full duplex. So essentially the image that we see on the screen right here is from the receiver. It is actually picking this up because our SDR has a transmitter and a receiver. The analog device is AD9361. The radio chip, as a matter of fact, I'll show you guys. This is my Pluto, which uses the same radio chip, which is this device down here. But the Libra SDR comes in a nice extruded aluminium case, which you can see down here. That's a really neat device down there, and it's quite robust. I'll just bring it a little bit closer so you guys can see it. It's really neat. It's a nice little box. It's like a little brick, and it costs as much as this PCB on its own, which is the Pluto. So it's not exactly the same as the Pluto in terms of software, but it does work with this particular SDR television. And a lot of the guys in VK3RTV, they have been using the Libra SDR. It's the recommended device. So what happens is that when we've set this up, we've got full duplex, which is really great because we are now monitoring the receive side at the same time that we're transmitting. So it's as simple as that. So here we've got all the details. You can see the actual decode status. We've got 1000 kilobits per second. We've got the QPSK. We've got the FEC45. The frame is normal, no pilots, etc. The MER, margins, all of this sort of stuff. It's even got the service. You got to put in your call sign when you're setting things up. Otherwise, things are not going to work. I actually haven't not covered that, but whilst we're here, let's just have a quick look at it. Here it is to set your things up when you fire up SDR television. You should really go to this little cogwheel at the top, and when you click on it, you'll get the settings. A lot of it you don't have to do, it just shows you, but one of the things you have to do is click on the transmit configuration, and you've got to enter your call sign here, otherwise it won't transmit. Okay, so that's basically it. Yep, one other thing is that when you guys set up your SDRs, the firmware for the Libra SDR should be the latest version of the Tezuka firmware, which is on GitHub. You may need to access this. So if we go to Tezuka releases, GitHub, that's basically it. Our friend F5OEO, he's the guy who's developing this. So essentially, you've got to get the latest version of that firmware. And there are various versions of it. As a matter of fact, you should be using this firmware anyway, but you can use it on your regular Pluto. If you're going to have a regular Pluto that you're going to use with SDR television, you can download this Pluto.zip here. In my case, I had to download Libra SDR. Okay, so that's the link of how to get the latest firmware. I suggest you do that because Simon may be using certain features that are in the latest firmware. I had a problem, as a matter of fact, and I had to upgrade to the latest firmware, and my problem was solved. Essentially, my full duplex wasn't, well, I wasn't getting constellation, even though it was transmitting. The receiver was not receiving it in a full duplex mode. Okay, so there we go. It had something to do with the firmware. Okay, so that's it, guys. I thought I'd just add that in there just for you guys to see what's going on. Okay, I thought that there'd be some merit in exploring whether SDR television, particularly with the Libra SDR, will work directly on a network. Now, in theory, yes, of course it should. The Libra can be accessed via the network. And if you guys, let me just put it back onto the OBS screen, you can see the Libra down here, and I've got it connected. Let's bring it a little bit closer. I've got it connected to a network port. At the moment, this is the USB interface. I'm pulling it out. It's not necessary. This is literally just power going into the Libra, just to power the unit, okay, from a separate USB power supply, not connected to the computer at all. So that's the setup, and let's see if we can fire it up and run it from the network. What does this mean? It means that the Libra can be far away from the laptop that's running SRT television. It could be right next to your amplifier or antenna, etc., etc. So essentially it could be at a remote location, very much the same as the Pluto setup that we've been using before with the RTMP stream. So what's the advantage? Well, it's great. You can have a laptop sitting in the living room there and getting all your favorite content ready, fire up Simon's SRT television and hook up to your transmitter, which is the Pluto or the Libra SDR, as it is in my case, and you can directly broadcast. So that's a very good detached way of broadcasting. In theory it should work. Let's see if it does. Okay, so what I've got here, let's go back to SRT television, and we're going to start or select the radio. So here we've got the Libra SDR, and we're going to start it up and seeing if SRT TV detects the SDR. Looks like it's going to connect. So bingo, we're connected. So here we've got some information in the log. It's connected. Now let's stream and see what happens. We're getting a constellation. We're getting RF output. If we have a look here, you can see there is RF. It's not brilliant. There's some sort of a spur going in and out, and I think that's the problem why we're getting such a messy constellation. If you have a look at the screen, we'll see in a minute. So it is connected, that's not a problem, but it's losing stuff, or there's something wrong with the data going in there. If you look at the log, I'm not going to debug it, but it's trying to connect. Constellation looks all messy, as you can see. We can vary things with the constellation by varying the RX and TX filters. So let's just drop this a little bit and see what happens to the constellation. It's connected again. Well, it's still not there. It's trying, but it's not getting there. I'm not going to go any further. It's another area for investigation, but I just wanted to show you that this device in theory does work over the network, and it will be cool if we can make it work. It could be my local setup, or it could be something else. So I thought that's worthy of note, and I hope that information is put to good use. Just getting back to the network connection, I thought it's probably worthwhile recording the log for a few minutes, or for a while at least, so anybody watching this video can actually see what's going on. It looks like there's some sort of an overflow in a buffer. Maybe because it's on the network, there's some sort of handshaking that is not same as it is on a local. I'm not sure. But I hope this information is good feedback for Simon if it ever reaches him. That's basically it for this. Yeah, so basically we're up and running. The level see, the receiver is really close to the transmitter, and even though I've got a minus 40 dB output from my SDR, it is still overloading the receiver to some respects. So essentially we can see the spectrum which is blown out here at the bottom. Okay, if we have a look at, I'm going to switch off the developer so we can see the full image of that. It's blown out, so there is a way of controlling that indirectly, and it sort of works a little bit. We've got the manual gain, and if we drop this down a little bit, it should affect that. You can see it. You can see the spectrum dropping, and I think the visual controls not really. Yeah. Okay, so you can actually see it. That's a sort of haystack. It's not sampling this brilliantly, but nevertheless it's giving us some indication of what's going on in the receiver. This can be fine-tuned, by the way. For now I don't really care, so I'm just leaving it as it is. So that's it, guys. We've got Constellation, we've got our live audio. I've muted it, otherwise we're going to get some feedback. Just to show you guys that it works, I'll unmute it. Here we go. You can probably hear it. Now we're getting some feedback. Anyway, let's just mute it again. Yeah, so this is it. This is a really quick way of getting up and running for you guys to see how SDR television works. Highly recommended. It's not exactly the same as what we've been doing with the Pluto. Totally different. This requires an application to run on top of OBS on your PC. Whereas what we're doing, we're accessing the Pluto via the network or USB if you've got it directly connected to your PC. And all we need is essentially, we're streaming to the Pluto, which is not what we're doing here. Just to clarify, I thought I'd add this comment. A little bit different. With the Pluto, we've got a RTMP stream that the Pluto decodes and transmits. The stream can be generated with several devices. It could be a OBS, it could be a ATEM Mini, it could be an OC Ghost Stream, or it could be even a hardware encoder like the Zoe box. All of these devices are capable of generating RTMP streams, and the Pluto will decode those. Very different to what's happening here. SDR television needs this specific application. This is the software, and the software generates all the interface and data for the SDR to transmit. I hope that clarifies. Okay, this is a different sort of setup. It's got its own advantages, and it's very simple. If it all works, and don't forget, this is proof of concept. Simon's just created this. It does work, of course, and if you know how to use it, you can sort of work around the sort of things that may not be implemented or may not even work properly. But right now, it is a very functional bit of software, and for QO100 stuff, it works. End of story. For us, it doesn't work. However, having said that, there's nothing stopping you guys going out in the field or even from your shack. If you've got a 70 SEMS amplifier. Another little slip up I thought I just need to correct. We don't have to operate on 70 SEMS. We can operate on any legal amateur radio frequencies which are allocated for amateur television. The SDR has a very wide band, and we can dial up any frequency, so we're not limited to 70 SEMS or 23 SEMS. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And you've got the appropriate antennas. We can be streaming or broadcasting, I should say, this particular image to anybody who can pick it up. So right now I'm doing it on 1287, as you can see on the spectrum down here. But there's nothing stopping me doing that on one of the presets here, which is 437. So yeah, and we don't have to use 4 kilosymbols. Another little slip up. What I meant to say is 4,000 kilosymbols for RTV use. Everything else is not necessary because simplex we don't have to use 4,000 kilosymbols. We can use 333 or whatever, anything up to even 1,000. At the moment, my image that I've got on the screen here is 1,000 kilosymbols, which is the highest that it will go. There is a bit of a lag, like if I put my hand up here, you can see it appearing, and on the screen now it'll appear again. It's the sort of endless thing going screen into screen, but you can actually see the appropriate delay. So when I pull my hand, which I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 seconds delay. God knows what's happening there, but it's obviously a delay. Yeah, now let's just switch back to OBS, and I'll show you guys what you need to set up here. Nothing very difficult if you're familiar with OBS already, but I've set up a scene called SRT Television, which you can see here, and in there I've got a text field, which is my call sign. I've got another text field at the top which tells me what I'm transmitting, like a little bit of a message. Then I've got my capture, which is what I'm showing you guys now, which is via the Logitech camera. And then I've got a test card, which is something that, you know, my test card, which is essentially a graphic. So that's it down there. And the rest of it is pretty much the same as anything else. If I do a transition, that's it. That's live now on SRT Television. So if we go here, you can see that SRT Television is now showing my test card. Yeah, that's basically it. So if I switch it back so you can see the live view, let me go and change this back to I'm sort of cheating so you guys can see the video by doing this. That's going to go live, but I'm going to switch back to SRT Television without you guys seeing me doing the transition. So now I've done the transition, and you'll see that this will appear. That's it. That's how long it took. So essentially, it is switching it live, but we don't see it because I can only show you one. I don't want to have OBS and SRT Television on the same screen, so I'm switching between the two screens. Otherwise, it'll be so titsy-bitsy, nothing will be visible. So that's it, guys. I hope you find this segment interesting. A little bit of a hands-on demonstration. It's pretty straightforward to set it up. Yeah, and I highly recommend that you download it, play with it, join the forum, and post some comments, any feedback that Simon gets about bugs or anything like that. I'm sure that he'll appreciate that. So highly recommend doing that. And if I actually have a look at, I think there's a forum here. I'll just show you guys how we can get in there. Where is that? To do support user forum. There we go. Let's just go full screen here. So if we have a look at the forums, SRT Television. So at the moment there's not much activity. There's only 3 posts. One of them is mine, which is this one here. And yeah, I just basically asked Simon if he can do the 4 kilosymbols, and looks like Rob 3IE's also put a comment there. So there we go. Maybe more guys can put comments there. I don't know how easy it is to do it. If it's easy, I'm sure Simon will do it. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed this segment, and all the best for now. I hope you enjoyed using or will have a go at SRT Television. Take care. I thought it would be worthwhile to show you guys where you can acquire your SDRs. Now, I've actually been in touch with I call him the boss. His name is Tom. and he runs open source SDR Lab, which is a store on AliExpress. I've actually purchased quite a lot of kit from him, like a Hack RF, the Libra SDR, the Pluto, some other things that I can't remember, but quite a lot of stuff. And yeah, everything's good. And I've been in communications with Tom for quite a while. I've been trying to twist his arm so he will offer some sort of a coupon code and discount for our community. Once again, I thought I'd add a comment. It's taken a long time to communicate with Tom, and I think we're finally in the final phase. I say a long time, like 9 months. So Tom, I believe that you're an honourable man if you're listening to this. In good faith, I'm giving you a plug for your store. I hope that you see the positive side. It's a win-win situation for all of us. If you provide some sort of an incentive for us to buy from you. Take care, Tom, and I look forward to your positive feedback. Both the BATC guys and also the locals here in the VK land. And he's very responsive, and hopefully in the next few days he will do something. So if you guys are interested in buying it, just hold your horses for a few minutes or a few days and see what the response is. You'll save a few dollars. Essentially, this is the sort of going price, at least in Australia at the moment. But I think we will get a relatively good discount, you know, significant, worth your weight, as they say. Just another comment. In all our discussions, Tom keeps on asking me what sort of discount do you expect, and I keep on telling him that it's got to be significant, and I would strongly recommend, Tom, if you're listening to this, the Australian price will be well under $200. I think there's still some margin there for everybody, and a good positive start for this community. Thanks, Tom. So yeah, just thought you might be interested in the developments of this situation. So highly recommend this store. Wait for a few days or so, and we'll be able to offer you some coupon codes. Take care. Until next time.